Hello and welcome again this evening to the Dragon of Icespire Peak, run by us here at Dice of the Beholder, our newbie campaign. Though, as I said to them earlier, I'm going to have to stop calling them newbies soon because they're actually quite good at it. But yes, welcome. Sorry about yesterday. I know I mentioned last week that we were going to play again. Apparently I lied. Whoops. But yes, we will eventually come back to the Chronicles of Needham, and eventually we'll get to play, or I'll get to play, finally, in Greg's new homebrew world that we're going to do once a month on Sundays over on twitch.tv/heavyweight RPG, heavyweight RPG. Sorry, yes, Jen, thank you very much for the subscription again with Prime. Thank you very much for 8 months. Everyone's really quiet. It's not like Needham where everyone, even Greg's quiet. He should be disturbing me like 10 times.
I'm eating chips.
Oh, you're eating chips. Ah, okay, cool. Yeah, the only excuse for not insulting me during my intro. But
You're
yes,
a dickhead.
thank you. Yes, welcome once more to D&D. Let's get everyone up on screen while Sticky Notes decides to have a fit. Hello. Hi guys. Before we go any further then, just a little word about our sponsors. First of all of Dice of the Beholder's Dungeons & Dragons content is sponsored by Loki Battlemats, L-O-K-E Battlemats, who are an award-winning UK-based TTRPG accessory creator. There are many books of Battlemats, little, big, giant sizes, and their modular book sets are full of amazing artwork that add an awesome backdrop to any tabletop game. We have used them pretty much exclusively for the last couple of years. If you are interested in finding out more, please obviously search Loki Battlemats on Facebook, Twitter, or you can visit lokibattlemats.com or DriveThruRPG to view their amazing artwork and shop their physical and digital maps. Our second sponsor, we love them, Blink Dog Dice. You don't only ever roll natural 20s, but they are good at it. They're a small dice maker based in Cardiff, friends of the channel, very close to our hearts. You can find amazing examples of their work available on their Etsy store. Just search for Blink Dog Dice, all one word. That's on most social media platforms, and the same goes for Etsy as well. Go show them some love and tell them we sent you. Yes, and obviously before we go any further, the wonderful ambient sound, which will work in a second, once it asks me to log in again, is provided by the amazing team over at Sirenscape.com. Fantastic ambient sound, because all epic games need epic sounds. So go check them out. Even the free versions of a lot of their sounds you can use with any of your tabletop role-playing games, is awesome. I highly recommend subscribing to get access to the rest of their library. But yes, apart from that, is everyone good to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm still eating chips, though.
Okay.
I'd just like to say, sorry, Blink Dog, but I'm not using your dice today.
Oh, you all got your new Critical Role dice.
Pretty.
Oh, cool.
I haven't. I've got the same Blink Dog dice I was using last week.
That doesn't mean you're allowed to use yours, bro.
So that means I can get my
No.
Critical Role dice out.
No.
The wonderful, amazing Christmas present from Greg. In the beautiful wormwood box that they came in. That was
the present that I bought you to look at and not to use.
Why? Because the first time I used it, I rolled a natural 20. That was nice.
Yes, exactly.
He gave them to me for Christmas. I took the D20 out. I rolled it. It was a natural 20. He was like, right, you can't ever use those. It's just not allowed.
There's a good reason why I bought you them with a box. That's where they're supposed to stay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll get out my many sets of dice. Move these ones out of the way. I can't remember what my giant dice are. I feel like giant dice should be used for a dragon fight, but if you fight a dragon,
it's okay. I'll do your rolls for you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Maybe we'll get up.
Oh, it's a 1, Bri. It's a 1. Oh, and another
Maybe-
1.
Maybe we won't fight him. Maybe we'll get up there and he's died of gangrene after, from all the wounds we gave him last time.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
That's what I reckon's happened.
Okay. Right. So, last time, in the Dragon of Icespire Peak, you, after thwarting the evil anchorites of Talos, the half-orcs that had taken over the manse of the elven wizard, researching runes in Everwinter Forest, you made your way back, quite warily, to Falcon's lodge, reporting back to him that you had completed the mission he sent you on and gaining yourselves a pair of boots of elvenkind. It was then, while one of you was learning how to make orc skull decorative armor, and the other two of you were contemplating things, the lodge was attacked by the remnants of the forces of the anchorites of Talos, who had summoned a giant lightning boar, who immediately broke down and destroyed one of the walls protecting the lodge, allowing orcs to try and pour in to the lodge grounds. Before they got very far in the pouring, you pretty much put a stop to that bottle in the way of a nifty spell that caused the boar to turn around and stampede, killing, I think, 6 orcs in the first turn.
Never used a first level spell more effectively in my life.
Mm-hmm. Then, with some very handy uses of hypnotic pattern, you very quickly proceeded to massacre the rest of the enemy force as they stood there doing nothing. Falcon, happy with what you had done, promised that upon your return, after solving the problem of Icespire Peak, he would guide Fergan to the last place he had seen his father. You made your way through Phandalin, given well wishes by the residents, and after purchasing a great many very expensive healing potions from the local apothecary, you made your way to Icespire Peak, where at the foot of the mountains you found a frozen orc, on whom was... a frozen ogre, on whom was 3 healing potions that you didn't need to purchase before you got there. So, you found a cave, you rested for the evening, staring up at the foreboding, windswept Icespire Peak. It is then the next morning, with storm clouds rolling overhead and the wind howling, so it is difficult for you to be heard. We begin our session. What would you like to do?
Should we start making our way up the mountain then, is it, boys?
Yeah, if there's a path.
Yeah.
There is.
I'm sure we saw a path, didn't we?
Yeah, as spied by Sidestep, now that he, after staring at it for half an hour, is seemingly now an expert on mountain travel.
Just fucking picked it up. It's simple.
Sidestep spied a long, winding, narrow path up the side of the mountain. You gonna make your way up?
Yes.
As we go, I want to keep an eye out for any side paths,
Okay.
like little trails.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. As you make your way up, then, roll me an investigation check.
Investigation, and I get to add my proficiency bonus. I love it. It's 18.
Okay. And the path itself, once you get maybe 20 feet up, from the foothills is narrow. You have to walk in single file. The path itself is maybe only about 4 feet across. As you're going, you do notice on the floor before you there are tracks from horses coming and going. At least one cart clearly visible in the frozen earth. What order are you making your way up the mountain?
Craig first, I assume.
Yeah, with Bergen between us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Are you making your way up the mountain normal speed? Stealthily?
I think we should probably be stealthy, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhat stealthily, definitely.
Okay. Everyone roll me a stealth check then, please.
Ooh.
I feel like hasn't Craig got
10.
advantage on this? Who's wearing the boots?
Me.
Craig.
Yeah.
21.
19.
10.
Okay. Sidestep. There we go. Dun, 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 dun. I was just checking to see if there was anything in your mountain terrain thing that would help you. Unfortunately, in this
not.
case, there is not. However, as an average, you do all make your way slowly but surely up the path. Sidestep, you keep an eye out. Unfortunately, as far as you can tell, moving further and further up this path, there are no sideways. It is a sheer cliff. And the only thing you could really climb up to as you move, say, left to right, with the cliff face on your left and a drop to your right, the only thing you could really climb up to is the next section of this path anyway.
Cool.
As you walk, though, you do come around a couple of bends until what looks like a rockfall that has come down from the side of an ancient tower that comes into view as you round a large rock. The rock slide has buried the path. It looks loose. You could climb over it, but it may be difficult going. Oh wait, hang on. No, you're fine. You're
No
traveling.
such thing as difficult going with a ring.
You're traveling through mountain terrain with a ranger. You're all absolutely fine. There is no such thing as difficult mountainous terrain for you guys.
Easy.
Wasn't somebody doubting me taking mountains from my favourite terrain at the end of last
I
session?
think it might have been Ian.
I think the doubting was more about like you looked at a mountain for 5 minutes and you're like, I'm pretty sure I know everything about that.
It's working.
Sure it is.
Basically a rock forest, right?
I would ask though that as you climb over the terrain, I need you to roll me another stealth check, please.
I'm gonna use this one. Oh my god, you did the exact same thing. 10 again.
10 again.
Yeah.
Okay.
These critical roll dice aren't doing me very well at the moment.
The poor one for me, 7.
7.
I've got
That's
got
with
good news.
advantage.
good news for you. I'm looking after both of them because I rolled a nat 20 plus 6.
Nice.
Okay. As you move then, even though the terrain does not prove difficult for you, the loose stone does start to shift and clatter. But you hear a soft thud. And as you look behind you, Craig, you notice that Fergan has reached down and stopped one of the largest rocks from falling and creating a very loud noise as it crashes down the cliffside. Everyone roll me a perception check.
Jesus Christ. 13.
6.
The highest I've rolled on these dice so far is a 10.
22. I just want to remind you all that I am using Blink Dog dice.
22, you said.
That's what I said.
Yeah, cool, okay. As you stand up from catching the rock and not giving away your companion's position, you look up to the tower to your right, and you notice a movement in one of the windows, as if a humanoid figure has just stepped back into shadow.
I tap sidestep on the shoulder and I say, I noticed a movement in one of those windows, as if a humanoid figure had just stepped back into the shadow.
Okay. Head towards the tower, shall we?
The tower is about 30 feet up a sheer cliff from you.
A sheer cliff.
However, it does look like the path begins to rise quite sharply as it moves around another bend. It looks like it's heading for this tower anyway.
Okay.
As you look up to the left as well, you can see just above, just jutting over the cliff, some further battlements, maybe 100, 150 feet above you. And it looks like these two separate buildings are the keep itself and the tower that you noticed joined by a stone bridge when you were looking from below last session. I know that happened, trust me.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. You find yourself in a kind of a ravine at the moment. What would you like to do?
Get my bow ready.
Okay.
Just keep an eye above.
You can keep moving?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to keep moving up the path.
Okay. As you make your way right then around the bend, you can see it does rise sharply until eventually the path kind of stops at the level of the base of the tower. And you can see there a gatehouse. The door itself, even though as you look into it, you can see a heavy wooden kind of crossbar that would be used to bar the door and stop your entry. It's kind of leant up against the door, and one of the large gates is open.
Go and have a peek inside.
Okay. As you step in then, or as you have a peek inside, it looks to be a stable. There are 6 stalls, and you can see and hear and smell that there are what appear to be 4 saddled riding horses. And as they sniff the air, they all turn and kind of, their ears go back at the sight of you and they become agitated.
Going to,
You fucking talk to them, I swear to God.
I mean, we've got to talk to them.
You've just put the idea in his head now.
No, I
We're
knew
gonna-
the
I think
the end
I-
of that sentence was I'm
I think-
gonna.
I think that idea was in his head.
yeah. Going to cast Speak with Animals and ask them to stay calm.
The horses kind of look at you. The largest of the 4 just looks at you warily. How do you know how to speak our tongue?
I, I'm friends with horses.
How? if you travel with the Predator.
I thought
keep
he
him
was
in
one of
line.
those in town as well at one point.
What did you say, sorry,
I
Craig?
keep him in line.
I said they thought he was one of those in town for a little while.
You don't know what I'm saying.
We will
point.
Just fucking
remain.
neighing and whinnying, but
We will remain calm. But we will trample him into the ground if he approaches.
gonna turn to sidestep and say, "Don't go near the horses." Where have you come from?
The fields far away.
Take it you've come here with your masters.
Those who ride us, yes.
Where are they?
In there. And he kind of gestures towards the only other door that would appear to lead further into the tower.
How many masters have you travelled with?
He looks at you kind of quizzically, and then looks at his friends, and then looks at you. Do you
Gonna wait for an answer.
require an answer your eyes have not already provided you with?
Sometimes we have ridden 2 to 1 horse.
Then I pity your
I like-
horse.
It's a big horse.
There are 4.
Thank you. He'll leave you alone, and I motion to sidestep. I'll turn and say that there's 4 people behind the door, or inside the building. Look how much I learned, guys.
What do the horses know of their masters?
Craig, what do your horse ears tell you?
Yeah, I'll ask him then. It still goes. Yeah, it's fine. I got 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll ask them. Well, I know how many masters there are. Where they come from?
Outside of the fields far away.
I'll relay the information to Fergan.
Ask them how big their masters are.
Are they going to fit on these horses?
I'm wondering if they might be that party we first ran into in the pub.
I'll ask how big their masters are.
Some same as you, others same as him. Nods towards sidestep.
Ah, okay.
How long have they been here?
I'm assuming you asked that question.
Yeah. How long have you been here?
Perhaps a moon?
You say they've been here for a moon.
Have their masters encountered anyone on the trail and fought, or are they peaceful?
I ask, have you come across anything on the trail to where you are now? Do your masters carry weapons?
They have slain many they encountered on their way here, and taken much of their sparkle and shiny goods. They are.
Oh no, shit! I'm made out of sparkle and shiny goods.
They are efficient.
Like, you got a cloak on. Gonna wrap that cloak around you.
He's got 2 cloaks on, isn't he?
Yes, I have. And they're
Yeah,
both
yeah.
sparkly and shiny.
Can't you make one look like something else? Can't you alter the
Yes.
colour of it? There we are.
Yes, I make the outer one look like a drab brown robe, and I look very sad.
Is there anything on the horses? Any insignias or anything like that? Or are they just...
Roll me an investigation check.
30.
13.
Yeah,
Okay.
1-3.
You approach the horses slowly. They do remain calm, though their attention diverts to Sidestep now instead of you. And as you search through their packs, you do find a substantial amount of silver, gold, gems, nothing too spectacular, but a few small rubies, sapphires. Not much paperwork to be found. No letters, no kind of contract. But all of the bags on the horses do appear to have a insignia, not stamped into them professionally, but scratched into them. So they are all slightly different. And
Okay.
in common, you do find the words Stone Cold Reavers carved in a circle around the insignia.
I swear to God, if one of these Reavers is called Steve Austin, I'm going to murder you.
Yeah, I'm not going to loot the bags. Everything's staying in the bags.
In instinct.
Yeah. I'll
I tell you what,
let the
Greg,
guys know what I found.
they weren't up until now. So you're not going to loot the bags, no?
No.
Okay, cool.
For now.
All right. What would you like to do?
Want to check the door for any possible traps.
Okay.
I'll stay between Sidestep and the horses.
Roll me an investigation check for the door, please.
Okay, come on, Blink Dog. You're a little bit better, but not by much. For 17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as you look around the door frame, there appear to be no traps, no tripwires. You test the door very gently. Doesn't appear to be locked. Roll me a perception check as you're really close to the door.
Jesus Christ, I am rolling crap tonight. 16.
As far as you can tell, there is nothing on the other side of the door. As far as you can tell with just your ears, there is nothing on the other side of the door.
I think I'll take a step back and have my bow ready in motion for Craig to open the door.
Okay.
Yep. I'll open the door slowly.
Okay. As you open the door, then, you do see a large, what looks like it may have been at one time a gatehouse barracks. You can see that there are broken wooden cots that have been pushed up against the walls, leaving quite a large clear space in the middle of the room. There are 4 bedrolls laid out in front of the fire, which is roaring in the fireplace opposite you. And sitting on 2 makeshift stools are 2 of the Stone Cold Reavers, with a third tending the fire, having their side turned to you, not their back. And as the door opens, they look up and they smile. One gestures. As you look in, you can see that they are human. There are 2 women. The one who gestured is lean. She has a very stern face, long red hair pulled back in a ponytail. She is wearing leather armor. You can then see a much taller, around about the size of Craig, muscular woman with hacked short black hair, cold blue eyes, who just kind of stares at you as she's whittling some wood with a dagger. And the man tending the fire looks like he was once as muscular and large as Craig, but is now unshapely. Looks a bit older than the other
braces
two.
on.
Has let retirement kind of set in.
Well, that's the dream.
But they just gesture at the bedrolls that look comfortable to sit upon in front of them. Hello. The red-haired woman speaks. I am Celine Wintermoon, formerly of Neverwinter, but now of our new home here in Icespire Hold. How lovely it is to meet travellers in this terrible weather. Unexpected, but not unwelcome. Please, come, sit, introduce yourselves.
Greetings. My name is Fergan, and these are the Ferganeers, Craig Smalltooth and Sidestep.
I'll lower my bow.
Sidestep is a little twitchy sometimes, but he means no offence.
None is taken. It is only right and proper that you should be ready to protect yourselves in these strange times at any given moment, especially from strangers you meet in dark, haunted old castles.
Haunted?
Well, there have been screams and wails, and apparently there was much death here once, so why not?
Hmm. Is it just the 4 of you here?
4?
There were 4 horses outside. I presume there's 4 in your company.
Oh, no. Only 3. We brought the spare just in case Brachus's horse, and she gestures to the heavy-set man behind her, gets tired. Brachus kind of grunts.
Do I believe that, Bri?
Roll a insight check with advantage, because you already know the answer.
Yeah.
I want to keep an eye behind us now, after she said that.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Jesus Christ, man. Perception, where are you? 15.
I got 22 on insight.
Insight check, she is lying through her back teeth. There are absolutely more than 3 of them there. She gives nothing away that she knows you disbelieve her.
I'm not giving anything away that I know she's lying.
That's fine. Sidestep. Around the room, as you keep an eye out for the 4th member of their party, you can see that there is, or what probably once was, like an upper landing that surrounded the room with more cots on it. Most of the sections of the wood have now come down, leaving large gaps. But there does appear to be a ladder that still leads up to one corner section of wood that is shrouded in shadow. You cannot see if there is anyone else up there, and you cannot hear anyone behind you. But the shadows do give you cause for concern.
I'm gonna keep my eye there.
Okay.
And I haven't put my bow or the arrow I took out away. They're just lowered.
So, Fergan and the Ferganiers, what brings you to Icespire Hole?
Sightseeing?
Sightseeing?
Yes.
Surely it is a much more wondrous sight from the bottom of the mountains, while not travelling through this horrible wind and possibly getting frozen to death.
I find that when you have a near encounter with being frozen to death, the sight of a keep or a hold anywhere with a warm fire and some standing walls is much more appreciated.
Well, if it is only sightseeing, then, my friends, I will, or we will, have to unfortunately bid you adieu.
Oh, where are you going?
We are not, but we are going to have to ask you to leave. We have laid claim to these ruins, and the salvage rights put forward by Lord Neverember when he was still one of the hidden lords of Waterdeep. We have laid claim to these ruins. And, unfortunately, if you do not leave, things will get ugly.
What more things you mean?
And she looks back at Brachus after you say that. So, well, yes, of course.
All we want
Right.
is passage up the mountain. We don't care about your loot.
It's not strictly true. Right, what do I know about the salvage rights she's talking about? Anything?
Roll me a history check.
It's not going to be terrible. History +3, so that's 16.
16. You know about these salvage rights. Your father has explained them to you in a small way previously, as your father knew Lord Dagult Neverember when he was a child, or a young man, at least. These salvage rights are law if you have the correct paperwork.
Okay. So I'll say then. Yes, I understand the salvage rights, and of course I've always been a great respecter of the law. If I can see the paperwork you have to support your claim, I will obviously respect it.
Paperwork.
Yes, under the salvage rights set forth by Lord Neverember, I believe you must have the correct paperwork in order to claim in order to claim this hold as salvage. Surely you're not any kind of outlaw.
No, of course, but unfortunately our copy of it was lost in a battle we had on the way here with some strange lightning-worshipping cultists, and the only copy of it, unfortunately, is held in trust in Waterdeep. If you would like to see it in return, with an argument.
No, I would like to see it. We'll keep an eye on the hold for you while you go off to Waterdeep and fetch it.
You can see just out of the corner of your eye. In fact, no, roll me a perception check, Fergan.
Is there any movement up above?
And Craig. There's no movement up above yet.
Yet. 19.
19?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm using a blink dog dice spray. There are no bad rolls. Come on.
Okay.
I just had 2.
You're using the wrong dice.
As you look then at Celine, you can see just out of the corner of your eye Brachus. And there is something strange about his movement. And after a few moments of your conversation with Celine, you realize that the strangeness of Brachus's movements is because while he looks like he's tending the fire, he has not touched it in quite some time. And instead is resting a long sword in his hand, which he moves slightly as the fire is quite warm. You just catch a glimpse of it shining in the firelight before he covers it up again with his large form.
I think your friend's sword is probably warm enough by now.
We were going to let you leave.
We still can let you.
I'd appreciate having this conversation with your fourth party member,
My fourth party member
wherever they're hiding.
is a man of very few words. However, actions do speak much louder.
I'm going to take a shot into the darkness.
Okay. Roll me a d20. I need you to roll me a d20. Not to hit, I just need you to roll me a d20.
6.
I rolled a 19, so his arrow goes first. Okay,
Right, fair.
so I won't use that as the to hit because that definitely hits Greg. Give me a second. Okay, I think that still hits. Give me a second. And yeah, that hits. That's going to be a 17 to hit you, Craig.
Yes.
Okay.
You just call him Craig.
No, Craig.
Oh, correct.
I'm pretty sure you said Craig.
Okay. A crossbow bolt flies out of the darkness that Sidestep is looking at and just nicks your shoulder, doing 2 points. If you'd been raging, that would have been laughable. But yes, does 2 points of piercing damage. You said you wanted to fire a okay.
Yep.
I'm going to need you to fire with disadvantage, please.
Okay.
What
With
does he not have any
disadvantage,
benefit
it's
from seeing it?
21.
21.
Nice.
21 with disadvantage.
Okay, definitely hits. Roll for damage.
That one. I can't use that yet. I'm going to reroll that with Piercer. Oh, much better. That is 15 damage.
Okay, 15 points of damage. Okay. So, as your arrow is let loose, as the crossbow bolt flies over your head to hit your friend, you hear the dull thud of the arrow hitting flesh, and you see a man stagger slightly out of the shadows, then resting up against one of the only bits of railing that is still left standing on this old, decrepit, ancient wooden landing. I'm going to need everyone to roll me initiative, please. As I
Did I have time whilst I could see him to bonus action Hunter's Mark him?
Yeah, why not?
Cool. Just in case he hides again. Initiative. That's 17.
robbed their horses and gone round.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it was itching to take that shot. Oh,
Yeah, I know. You didn't hide it as well as you might have thought.
Yep.
there was a moment where I was looking at my charm person, but I had to be able to see the person, and I couldn't see him. Oh, I gotta think. Use that spell slot.
Doggo.
Right, he comes up usually, but he doesn't seem to want to do it on camera. I guess he's camera shy.
Okay. And give me a moment. There we go. Okay. Does everyone remember their initiatives?
17.
17?
11.
11.
Both.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so arrayed out before you are the 4 warriors of the Stone Cold Reavers.
And the broken glass.
First to move is Celine. She's going to rush forward and position herself next to Fergan and Craig, and is going to make 2 longsword attacks against Craig. And
We haven't had time to get Tampa Fumeration yet, mate.
And a short sword attack against. Oh yeah, this is what happens when, the monsters have a better initiative than you, basically.
I don't like it. Let's not have it happen again.
2 longsword attacks against Craig. That is going to be a 19 and a 21.
Yes and yes.
And a short sword attack against Fergan.
I had the sentinel attack on them for the attack on Fergan.
You can.
There we go. Do you want to do the attacks on me first, and then I'll do it in between, or do you just want me to do it?
Let me do the attacks on you first. Sorry. So cool. You take from the first attack 7 points of slashing damage as the longsword strikes you. In the second attack, you take 11 points of slashing damage as she quickly slices you back and forth, and then in the momentum of her swing makes the strike with her short sword in her other hand against Fergan. Roll to attack.
And that is just going to be with the great axe in it.
Well, are you holding the longsword, or have you not taken that out yet?
No, I'm still have the great axe.
Okay.
That is... Yeah, so 24.
24 definitely hits. Roll the damage.
Oh, thank Christ for that. So... 16.
16.
Yep.
16.
Yeah, 1-6.
As you see in her movement, the leather start to kind of fall back as if it was hiding some armor beneath. Your axe does just glance off the splint. And there is a dull ringing sound as she kind of laughs and smiles at you, and you do no damage. You didn't hit, unfortunately.
Okay.
Fergan.
Yeah.
It's a 19 to hit.
No, actually, that doesn't hit me.
Just in case it did,
Yeah, just in case it did.
you take 7 points of piercing damage as she thrusts her short sword
Oof,
into
that
your
sounds
side.
bad. Good thing she didn't hit me then, isn't it? Okay. 7 points of damage it is.
Yeah. So, sidestep.
Take a shot at the guy up top again.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, for fuck's sake. 13.
13 points of damage? Or 13
No,
to
13
hit, sorry.
to hit.
13 to hit. Unfortunately, this time he is ready for you, and he does duck out of the way of your arrow.
Can't roll at all today.
You got 2 attacks.
That's 2, 3, 4. That's 5 different dice I've tried.
You've got 2 attacks.
Ah, good point. Oh, that's better. 27.
27 to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll for damage.
Gotta reroll that with Piercer. That is 4, 6, 9, 14 points of damage.
14 points of damage. Okay. As he smiles at you and rises to his full height then, happy in the knowledge that he can dodge out of the way of your arrows, your second arrow takes him, and you can see the look of surprise and pain on his face as it lodges itself in his shoulder, and you can hear the wooden kind of walkway creaking underneath his feet as he kind of tries to right himself and not fall off. Is that the end of your go?
I have it. I'm going to Misty Step up to him.
Okay. So you're going to bonus action Misty Step up to the other mercenary, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. As you disappear in a puff of smoke and reappear directly in front of your assailant, as your weight then lands on the wooden walkway below you both, there being no space to move, you feel the wood begin to give way.
I'm fine with that.
Is that the end of your go?
Yep.
Okay. Fergan.
Oh. I don't want someone all up in me. I like to cast spells.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed.
Do you know one spell that I like to cast?
What is it?
Called Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers at a 2nd level. At this lady who's all up in my fucking bee's ass.
Okay. So it's not a ranged spell, is it?
It is, but it's a saving throw range spell
Yeah.
rather than a
To hit, yeah. So that's fine.
So it's a wisdom saving throw, please.
No problem. Ooh, it's going to be a 6.
That's not going to pass, Bry. I've got that's the bad news for you, is
Okay.
that doesn't pass. Bad news for her as well, I suppose.
So she's now got to use her reaction to...
Well, first off, she's going to take 4d6 psychic damage.
Cool.
But let's not like get ahead of ourselves. And that's 11 psychic damage for her. And then she's got to immediately use her reaction to move as far away from me as her speed allows.
Okay. Cool. She screams in fear.
Not close enough for an attack of opportunity.
You've already used your reaction.
You've already used your action this round.
Oh, yeah.
Has he?
Yeah, to do the
Yeah,
sentinel
I
attack.
took a swing when she came near you, innit?
Oh, you're after me, are you? Right, yes.
So she does scream, and with her speed backs herself up into the corner as far away from you as she possibly can get.
Excellent. And then I'm going to move away from Craig into as safe a place as I can with my movement.
Okay. There is what appears to be a cupboard. The walls are kind of caving in the room, but there appears to be a cupboard just off to your left if you want to go in there and hide behind the low wall.
I'd love to get in the closet.
Okay. Cool. You are in full cover.
I love it. And with my bonus action, I will do some. I'll call out some muffled, encouraging words from the cupboard, to the effect of, "I'm right behind you, Craig. Wait, way behind you, all the way behind you," and give Craig bonus, not bonus,
Inspiration.
bardic inspiration. Yes,
Cool. Which was 1d8 now, wasn't it?
1d8. Yes.
Okay. Craig.
I don't know if you know what I'm going to do.
I don't.
He'd like to calm down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
He'd like
to,
to diffuse the situation a little bit.
full on tamping fuming rage in,
Cool.
and I'm going to charge the one that's in front of me and take a swing at them with a great axe.
Can we get that as the next Dice of the Beholder t-shirt? For Welsh barbarians everywhere. I'm tamping fuming raging. Okay, go for it. Go to hit. Sorry, who do you want to run up to?
The one that's closest in front of me?
The other woman, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Get up right in her grill.
It's a 16. Ugh.
16. Again, with your first swing, she quite deftly ducks out of the way of it.
Motherfucker.
You've also
Okay.
got 2 attacks.
Yeah. That's a bit too far. If I was to attempt to shove them backwards into the fire, is there an actual fire there?
There
Or is it too far away?
No, she's about 10 feet away.
Hmm.
I don't think your shove action
No, I don't think it would.
is going to move her
That's
10
fine.
feet.
I'll take another swing then with a great axe.
Cool.
It's a bit better. So 22.
22. 22 definitely hits.
And that is it's not that great. 12 points of damage.
12 points of damage.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fine. She doesn't have rage. 12 points of damage to normal people hurts. There we go. Okay.
No, but they hurt me first.
Is that the end of your go?
Yes.
Okay. So, as the archer now standing in front of you, looking shocked that you've suddenly appeared a hair's breadth away from him, both of your feet, or both of the floor falls out from under the both of you. And you both fall 20 feet to the ground. I would like you to make me an acrobatics check, please.
18.
18. Nice. Okay. Okay, 18. There we go. So that's... You do still take 6 points of bludgeoning damage. As hitting the floor, you manage to keep your feet, but your ankles, your knees, your hips, your spine, everything hurts. So you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage, as does the person attempting to attack you. Having fallen, being a bit rattled, he is going to take a swing at you using the heavy crossbow as a bludgeoning weapon.
Okay.
So, that's a natural 20.
Oh,
On an improvised weapon. Hang on. Why? Why D&D Beyond? I love you, D&D Beyond, but why? Let's say it's a
he's
club.
making it up.
Yeah, a club is the best thing you're gonna get. Well, it's got
An improvised weapon's 1d4, isn't it? That's what an improvised weapon usually is.
or if it looks like a weapon, like a large, heavy piece of wood with spiky metal bits.
Does it look like a bludgeoning weapon?
Yeah,
A crossbow does.
it's a heavy crossbow. It's a large, heavy bit of wood with spiky metal bits coming off it. I reckon I could make that a mace.
Yeah, with 6 hours at a workshop, you could.
Okay.
Cheeky bugger. Cheeky breeky.
Okay, so you take 1d4 doubled plus 3 points of damage. Give me a second. Aha! You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And that... No, he's going to take another swing. That is a 9. So that does not hit you.
That misses.
Um,
I'm gonna dodge it and give him a toothy smile.
okay.
Show him the sharp teeth.
He's then going to drop his heavy crossbow and make to take out his swords on his next turn. Craig, the woman in front of you smiles evilly and begins to twirl her swords around. She is going to make 2 longsword swings against you and 1 with the short sword. That is going to be a 22.
Yep.
25.
Yes.
And a 19.
Yes.
Okay, so you take 2 points of damage from the first hit.
Cool.
4 points of damage from the second hit.
Cool.
And 4 points of damage from the third hit.
Awesome.
That's it. Finally, the large guy Brachus, who is standing by the fire, is going to make his way into the battle. He's going to come around behind Craig. Hang on. You guys are now on the floor, standing directly in front of each other. There we go. Okay. And it is also going to make 2 longsword and 1 shortsword swing against you. Okay, 21.
Yep.
13.
Nope.
And a 13.
Nope.
Okay, so there's only the 1 hit on you. You take from the longsword 4 points of damage.
Cool.
Back to the top of the round. The one who ran away from Fergan screaming, now having been made to realize her own fears, shakes off the strange whispers in her mind and runs as far as she can towards you. She can't quite make it to you on her turn and still do anything, so she prepares herself. Sidestep, what would you like to do?
Can I drop my bow and take out my swords and take
Absolutely.
a few swings? That is a 16 for the first one.
16, unfortunately, your short sword swings past his body as he steps out of the way.
That is a 26 for the second one.
That one definitely hits.
And because I get a third bonus with the swords, don't
Mhm.
And that is a natural 20.
Go for it.
Nice.
Right, okay, so the first one isn't the 20, unfortunately. That is 6, 8, 10, 14 damage on the first one.
Okay.
And this one I get the double. Oh, I just rolled an 8 and a 6.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that is 28 damage.
Okay. So, missing with your first short sword swing, striking true with your second, following it up with your offhand. You cross your blades across his throat, and in one swift, scissor-like motion, sever his head from the rest of his body.
I'm like, hey Craig, I could do it too.
Okay, would you like to move, or...
Gonna put up a bloody thumb. Covered in hack marks.
I'll stay where I am.
Put that on the board just so you know that your hunter's mark is still up, just it's not on anyone at the moment, okay?
Cool.
Okay, Fergan.
I am going to poke my head out of this cupboard,
Mm-hmm.
look her in the eyes, and say, you know, that roaring fire is making me hungry for barbecued meat. Why don't you go outside, slaughter the horses, and bring us back some chops? And
That sounds like a suggestion.
it is a suggestion, in fact.
Yeah?
You're correct. Yes.
Wisdom save?
Yes. I'd like you to roll like the same as you did last time, please.
I bet you would. That's going to be a 14.
That does not pass.
As she is ready to stab you in the face, suddenly she lowers her weapons.
I'm going to go across the street and
some
slaughter you
serve,
some orange horses.
And it looks to her like it's a very good idea. Okay, and on her turn, she's going to do just what you suggested.
Seems like a good idea for her.
Yeah. Is that the end of your go?
I think that was enough.
Okay, cool. Craig?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna take another swing at the one in front of me.
Okay, go for it.
20.
20 definitely hits.
11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. Okay. And for your second attack?
I'm gonna try and shove her back away from me as far as I can. Just
Okay.
give her a big two-handed push.
Roll me a contested strength check then, please. Just a d20. Add your athletics.
Cool. I get advantage on athletics checks.
You do.
So, yeah.
And +2 from the rage.
Exact same anyway. So that's an 18.
An 18. It's a
Oh,
lot
sorry,
better.
no. 19.
It's a lot better than her 8. So yes, she does move 5 feet further away from you.
Cool.
She stumbles back over the bedroll on the floor below her, or behind her. Is that the end of your go?
I'm just going to give her a little wink after I pushed her. And yeah, that's the end of my go.
Okay. She
Flirt.
is, she rights herself, glances to the left, seeing now the decapitated body of her friend, and she, for the first time, her smile falters, and she begins to look fearful. And you can see through the visage of a hardened mercenary, there is quite a scared woman beneath. And she is going to attempt to run around making her way towards the door that you've entered through.
She is shocked when she goes in and sees those horses.
The other woman hasn't left yet. She is going to, however, as she passes you, or as she runs around the outside, attempt to shoot at you with the heavy crossbow. That is going to be a 15.
Yes.
From where she's standing, is she shooting at disadvantage?
Hmm?
Isn't she?
She's done
melee?
it as she's passed, isn't she?
Yeah, isn't she in melee range? Wouldn't she be at disadvantage?
No, because that's not Craig. That's her friend.
Right. Okay. My bad.
You take 2 points of piercing damage as the bolt again strikes your arm. And the large, portly fellow who made his way behind you now takes a swing. Not at advantage, because she moved, because she's a scaredy cat. So 2 long swords, 1 short sword. That is going to be a 24.
Yep.
A 22.
Yep.
And a 24.
Yep.
Okay, so from the first longsword striking you, you take 4 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
The second hit, you take 5 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And the third hit, you take 3 points of piercing damage from the short sword. He is going to scream at you, but it seems pitiful next to your rage, and you laugh in his face. Back to the top of the round. Celine is going to ponder the suggestion made to her. And is going to make her way out the door. Out of sight. Off to slaughter some horses.
Slaughter the horses.
Sidestep.
Do we care about killing these guys? Because I can keep them all, possibly keep them in the room.
How are they going to get away?
I'd be concerned about not killing them because I think they just come back when we're sleeping.
Okay. Then I'm going to take a shot at the guy attacking Craig. I won't be moving my hunter's mark.
Okay.
That is a 27 to hit.
A 27 to hit.
27 to hit.
Yep. That hits.
I'm going to reroll that with Piercer. That is 10 damage. And I will bonus action use that entangle spell on my bow.
Okay.
20 foot and DC 15 strength saving throws.
So 10 damage. A 20-foot circle.
Uh,
Give me a second, and I will.
I think it's a 20-foot cube.
Because it's
20-foot square.
Yeah, it's the entangle spell.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. A Vine Heart longbow. Cool. So, I'd say the wall protects Fergan. So, strength saving throw, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the woman who is making her break for it does manage to break free of the vines that are trying to ensnare her legs as she's running. The large portly man attacking Craig is almost completely entrapped in vines and can no longer move.
Okay. Cool. I'm going to take my second shot as well.
Okay.
Can I see the woman from where I am?
Can you see the woman from where you are?
Hmm.
Yeah. The woman trying to run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, no, I don't think I hit. That's a 12.
A 12 unfortunately does not hit. There are a few people in between you and her.
Mhm.
And with the vines now writhing in front of you as well, unfortunately the arrow does just miss.
The terrain is difficult terrain for her as well.
Mm-hmm. Fergan.
Cool.
How are you looking there, Craig?
Bad. Not great.
I'll chuck a third level healing word in Craig's direction, I think.
Okay.
So, D4. Why do they make D4 so hard to pick up?
I find them really easy to pick up with my bare feet.
Yeah. That's not the method I'm going to try, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 4, 8, 10, plus 5, 15 hit points back to you.
Cool. Awesome.
So that's my bonus action. As my action, I guess I will viciously mock the lady who's attempting to flee
Okay.
and say, "Oh, are you done? I think we still have a little business here. Why don't you stick around?" It's more vicious taunting in this particular case.
Okay.
So wisdom saving throw, please.
It's a 9.
Doesn't pass, I'm afraid.
Didn't think it would.
Should have made these bandits wiser. It's just 3 damage.
3 damage. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the end of your go?
Yes. I enjoy. I've had enough fun, I think.
Okay. I've had enough fun, I think. Okay.
Well, for one round.
And Craig.
I'm Am I able to move around him to get a swing at her?
You can. You can easily move around him to get a swing at her, but remember, all of your attack, because he's restrained now by these vines, all of your attacks now...
Are crits.
Well, no, they're not crits, but they all have advantage.
Okay. There we are then. I'll just take 2 swings at him.
Give me a moment, because I need to check something about... There we go. A spell. No, it's only when you cast the spell. Okay, cool. Yeah, 2 hits against him. Go for it.
Okay. So the first of the 27.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh, that's fucking shit. So it's just 8 points of damage for the first one.
8 points of damage for the first one. Cool.
Second one, better. Is a 26 for that.
26 definitely hits.
That's a bit better. So that is 14 damage.
14 damage. Okay. Is that the end of your go?
Yes.
Okay. As then the woman looks at the vines surrounding her, watches her leader run out the door, seemingly abandoning them, remembering the corpse of her headless friend, she throws her weapons on the ground and begins to shout, "Brachis, hold! Hold! It is too difficult, it is too much. Brachis, hold! Stop fighting!" And she kneels down on the floor amidst the writhing vines and holds her arms up in the air. "Please stop, we are sorry."
Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air. That's Thurgan in the cupboard.
Brachis, who is now still caught up in the vines, does not attempt to free himself from them, and instead stops struggling, and as much as he can, loosens his hands, so while his weapons are still wrapped up in the vines, he is no longer holding their hilts. Outside of the room, you hear the fearful whinny of a horse and the striking of a sword. The striking of a sword 3 times, in fact.
There are 4 horses.
Mm-hmm. She's got 3 attacks per turn.
Yep.
Sidestep. It's your go.
I love that the battle just goes quiet and all you hear is 3 horses being fucking murdered.
Is there anywhere I can get in a position where I can see through that door?
Jenny's sitting there now wishing she hadn't subscribed to us again. Or wishing they hadn't subscribed to us again. Sorry, Jen. Sorry about the horses. I don't do it. I don't make these choices.
Oh, you put this all on me.
But yeah, sidestep. Sorry, what did you do?
Can I move over so I can get a sight through the door?
You can. You can see through the door then. She has already slaughtered 1 horse. And there you go.
I'm just going to mutter to myself how these silly bastards feared me.
Nicky peeking on the corner like that.
I'll move my... Oh no, I can't. I lost that. I will recast my Hunter's Mark, though the Entangle spell goes away.
How did you lose your Hunter's Mark?
Because Entangle is a concentration spell. And so is Hunter's Mark.
Yeah. It does take over the concentration. Yeah, cool.
So I'll recast it on, what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
And I shall take 2 shots.
Go for it.
Bloody hell, we do have to stop calling them newbies, right? Because I still don't remember sometimes that I lose concentration on one spell if I cast another concentration spell.
It wasn't that.
It's okay.
I remembered that. I was just wondering about a spell cast by a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It does say concentration on it, so...
Yeah.
I did make one mistake earlier, but I don't know if it would matter, because it still would have done a lot of damage, where I used my d8 for my swords accidentally.
Okay.
But anyway, this one is a 28 to hit.
Definitely hits.
This damage. That is 4, 6, 9, 14 damage on the
14.
first hit. That's a 22.
22 definitely hits.
And that is 13 damage.
13 damage. Staring through the door then, as she, completely oblivious to your approach, shows her back to you as she prepares to slaughter a second horse. You put 2 arrows straight into the back of her skull, and she collapses against the stable door, dead. The horses calm, stare at you, and you almost feel as if they thank you as they nod their heads to you in unison.
That's damn right they do. I'll just turn around to look at these 2. And that's my go.
Have the grasping vines dropped then?
Yeah.
It was a concentration spell.
Yes.
Yeah, so I imagine his swords have fallen on the floor.
Mm-hmm. His swords fall on the floor. Fergan?
I don't really have any sort of... I guess I come out of the cupboard.
Okay.
But I'm not really... We're not really in combat anymore. I suppose these 2 are surrendering, right?
Roll an insight check.
I will. That is... Insight. It's 12.
Yeah. As far as you can tell, they are terrified, both of them, of, at least in their eyes, the seeming kind of ease in which you have utterly decimated their forces. And they are, as far as you can tell, absolutely truthful in their desire to end this battle now.
Right. Okay, well, I think it's natural to still be a little bit cautious.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman here, did she throw her sword down?
She did. She is weaponless. Okay. The swords not only were thrown down, they were cast away from her. As far as you can tell, all she has is a very small dagger on her hip, still in its sheath.
I'm going to cast Charm Person.
Okay.
On her. So that's a Wisdom saving throw.
That's a 2.
No, that doesn't pass. I look at her and I say, now, you wouldn't lie to me, Smurgan of the Ferganeers, your old friend. Tell me, are you planning to betray our trust after we generously spare your life? Generously, magnanimously, and downright saintly, really.
Yet, I am going to go out there and get on my horse and travel back to Icewind Dale as fast as the horse will carry me.
I look out. Which horse was yours?
Is the one in the third stall.
Which horses died?
The one in the first stall died.
So not hers.
No.
Yes, that's a good plan. You even got a spare horse now, like you claimed to have before. That's nice, isn't it? And the other guy, he's not planning to betray us either.
Brachus will follow.
Okay. Well, make sure as you go, peacefully and owing us your lives as you do, that you tell everyone.
We will give you all of our saddlebags.
That won't be necessary, but make sure you tell everyone as you go that that you were wrong to tangle with Fergan and the Ferganeers, and that they.
I like to think that the sidestep's already out. Just going through the saddlebags.
And that they would do well to steer clear of offending us.
We will tell of your great martial prowess and your mercy.
Yes, magnanimity as well. Yeah.
The lands, yes.
Yes, tell everybody. And, yes, well, it's been lovely meeting you, and this has been very invigorating. But please don't let us keep you. Fuck off.
She grabs
language.
I'm gonna pick up the decapitated head of their friend and throw it at them, and say, "Take that with you."
She catches it and immediately drops it, and just grabs Brachus by his armor and bodily kind of drags him towards the door. Even without weapons, he looks somewhere like halfway between wanting to run and wanting to hurt one of you. But they do rush out. You can see them kind of opening the stable doors. Brachus picks Celine's corpse up and throws her bodily across the stable to get her out of the way. And you can see them kind of getting bits and pieces together on two horses. They do dump the saddlebags on the floor to kind of lighten the weight. And they jump up on the horses and ride out as quickly as they can.
Well, that was very fun. I need to lie down.
What time of day is it?
It is an hour after you first woke.
Oh, okay.
I say we grab those saddlebags.
I never go through them, yeah.
You go.
And have a short rest, is it?
You go right on ahead with that. I'm going back in this cupboard, and I go back in the cupboard and lie down.
Okay.
I pick up Selena's body.
Okay.
And show it to Sidestep. I go, you may want to look at this. Couldn't hit her, and just throw her over to him.
What?
When I hit her armor, my sword bounced off.
Ah, right. This
isn't leather armor, or he's wearing something else.
Okay, we'll have a look at her, what she's wearing.
Okay. As you look, then it is it's just splint mail. It's heavy armor, leather, and lots of metal bands to reinforce it. It just appears to be very tough leather, much too heavy, unfortunately, for Sidestep to wear.
Yeah.
And also, why would you want to cover the rippling muscles of Craig the half-orc? But
so if you could take it and sell it.
It's in very good condition compared to the armor on the other guy that is just studded leather. It's in incredible condition. Having bought and or seen, the sale and the purchase of martial weapons and armor before, if you haggle, you could probably get about 200 gold for it.
We'll take that with us.
Okay.
As I put it in a bag, yeah. I would say it's probably magical, that's why I couldn't hit it.
Leisurely searching through then the bags, as I'm assuming you're all taking a short rest.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Leisurely searching through the bags. I'm not going to make you do an investigation check, as you can take your time with it. You find in gold and silver, in total, you find about 600 gold in currency. You can just put 600 gold. I'm not going to make you.
Should we just 200 each then?
Yeah.
Nice.
You also find about 23 gems. Small rubies, sapphires, things like that. They are quite small. None of them are perfect. They seem to have been like prized from necklaces and rings and other jewelry. Feeling, the thieves or the mercenaries feeling that the gem was worth much more than whatever housed them. But you reckon they're maybe worth about 10 gold each? So another 230 gold's worth of like various small gems.
Cool.
Not bad. Not
Cool.
bad.
And
And
apart from that, there's nothing else.
Since chat is suggesting it, I'm going to go cut some steaks off those horses for our short rest.
I'm gonna
Just
have
the
a
one
look
horse,
around
actually.
have a look around the building that we're in, around their bedrolls and everything, in case there's anything else.
Okay.
I'd like to point out that the snooty horse is now wrong, that you can just estimate the number of party members from the number of horses.
Mhm.
So I think that we've achieved our main goal of proving the snooty horse wrong.
Okay. Have
And
you
Nikki saved him.
have you rolled
I know, right?
whatever hit dice you wanted to?
I am about
Not yet.
to. Short rest.
I take it you've rolled your
I'm
hit
ready
dice,
to.
Greg.
10.
I haven't actually. I will.
Are you playing a Song of Rest?
Yes, I will be playing a Song of Rest for an extra D6 for everyone.
And with your short rest, then, we are going to take a rest ourselves there, because the battle went on a little longer than planned. But yes, we're going to take a short break there. We'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. Catch you guys in a bit.
Man.
Hi.
Hello, welcome back to part 2 of session 10 of the Dragon of Icespire Peak. Where we left
The
off.
dragon was actually polymorphed as a horse. It's dead now,
Mhm.
so we've won. It's all over.
No, because when polymorph wears off, it just goes back to what they would have been before.
Oh, she did so much damage that it carried over and destroyed the dragon as well.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But no, you are now left alone after thwarting the mercenaries that had taken residence in Icespire Hold. You've now been left alone in what once was the gatehouse barracks of Icespire Hold. What would you like to do next?
1 minute, I've left the back door open.
Okay. What would Sidestep and Craig like to do next?
Have a look to see the path that leads away from here, further up the mountain,
Okay.
to see if there is a path.
Okay. As you do then take a little bit of a look around, you see that there are a couple more rooms. One which is a storage room full of empty wooden barrels and crates. And as you go to touch them, they're so brittle they just fall apart at the slightest touch. Anything that was once kept in them long since rotted into dust. There is a smithy that you pass through, There's an anvil resting on the floor near a fireplace, but it doesn't look as if it's been lit in years. And there is this bellows on the side, so old. Again, it looks like if you touch it, it's going to fall apart. And the floor is littered with rusty tools and old horseshoes. As you make your way up into the level above, or the top level of the tower, it is much colder. You can hear the wind rustling through the broken and open windows, and the door, which has long since been ripped off the hinges by either the elements or something. Out of this door, you can see a long stone bridge. It spans a 35-foot gap, and far below it, as you just peer out, does look to be, at the bottom of a ravine, the path that you made your way up. This is the bridge you passed underneath. Across it, you can see the main fortress. The bridge itself is edged then by 3-foot high stone railings. As you look, you can see mounted on the side of the fortress, just above the north door, which is the door you are looking at, is an iron bell with a short, rusty chain dangling from it. But the door below does stand ajar. You can see its crossbar is broken, as if something broke out. What would you like to do?
Take a good look around for any dragons in the sky.
We should have asked our friends if they'd noticed a dragon around here.
Roll me a perception check. As you have that thought, Fergan, you see them riding far below in the ravine.
16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
As you look around, the wind and the steel grey clouds, nothing that you can see. However, the top of the main keep itself, the top of the castle, it's swept away so quickly by the wind, it does take you a moment to notice, but there appears to be almost like cold energy just emanating from the roof of the castle, as if spilling off in an icy waterfall before being swept away by the wind.
With my knowledge of dragons that I've, gained since last time, would I know that means there's a dragon there, or?
Roll me a nature check. With advantage, because it's one of your favourite enemies.
That is nature 20.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 20.
You've met this white dragon. You're fully aware that a white dragon's power rests in its affinity with the element of ice. It just, I suppose, follows from that logic that a dragon's lair would be incredibly cold.
Okay.
I don't know what you want from me. It's a white dragon.
Yeah,
They're ice dragons, man.
No, I just wanted to know if that meant anything to me.
Could be. Like, even with the 20, yeah, maybe. Could also be a portal to, the elemental realm. Could be a shit ton of things.
There is something I could do to check that the dragon's definitely there, but it uses a spell slot and I don't want to use anymore.
Also, with that nature check, you do also remember that the campaign is called The Dragon of Icespire Peak. And
my thinking was more, does that ice filling out mean that it's there, definitely there,
I know, I'm joking.
Does Nicky take 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on his next attack for that?
Because of that vicious mockery.
That's vicious mockery.
No, he's alright. But yes, you do suppose that the coldest part of this fortress would probably be where the dragon has made his home.
Okay.
Greg's still staring at the iron bell, and his hand's just going to slowly go up to the chain.
I'm gonna smack his hand.
Yeah.
Gonna.
I think maybe you were gonna a bit.
Let's have a look in through this open door then, is it?
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
We're going to quietly go in, yeah?
Yeah, quietly.
Okay. As you cross the bridge then, roll me a stealth check, please.
20.
I missed.
Advantage as well.
Oh, oops.
Don't worry. That's a 7.
7.
Mm-hmm. With advantage.
Nikki?
20.
Greg?
I also rolled a 7.
Hang on, what's your plus to stealth?
6.
So, hang on, did you, so is your total a 13?
7.
Oh, your total
No.
is a 7. Ah, right, okay, so you rolled a 1.
I rolled a 7.
Good thing there are no critical failures in skill checks, isn't it? You do quite loudly, unfortunately, make your way against
Ring the bell as I go in.
the
I'm just gonna
ice-strewn.
Hang my head and
Bridge.
just... as I go.
Roll me a perception check with disadvantage because the howling wind is loud out
As
here.
we're going across the bridge, I'm loudly asking, aren't rangers supposed to have a spell to make people stealthier?
Yeah, but I had to take healing spells instead.
Why, I'm the healer.
Disadvantage, you said.
Mm-hmm.
16.
16. Craig?
That's a 6.
Cool. Fergan?
Sorry, what am I rolling? I got
Perce-
slightly distracted.
Perception.
Oh, perception? That is a 19.
You selling paper clips?
No, what? No.
Because your screen is very white and bright.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Sorry, what was your perception score?
It was 19.
Okay, cool. Craig and Sidestep, as you walk, nothing seems amiss apart from the need to get out of the howling wind. However, Fergan, just before you get across the bridge, you can't tell exactly where it's coming from, but over the wind, you do hear the sound of something large breathe and grunt as if waking from a slumber.
Is it Waffle?
Yeah,
Good.
something almost as long as Waffle. Because he's a long boy.
He is a long boy.
As you get to the door, open, you can see a short, empty corridor. It's maybe about 20 feet long. You can see arrow slits lining the north and south walls. Nothing much else in there. Any tapestries have long since rotted or been destroyed by exposure to the elements. Do you go in?
Go in, both are ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
stealthily.
Okay.
Well, one of us goes stealthily.
Okay. There are 3 doors, one to the right, one to the left, one at the end of the corridor directly in front of you. Where would you like to go?
Right.
Begin.
Okay.
Begin to the right.
I just rolled.
As you make your way right then, and push the door open, you can see that these thin corridors, maybe 10 feet wide, extend all the way from this bridge, which would be the central point in the fortress wall, to the corner, and then disappears out of sight around the corner. You can see balconies that are protected by stone defences and many, many arrow slits cut at regular intervals in the outside wall. There are many, many barrels of old, brittle arrows left as the fortress was abandoned many, many years ago. None of them would be usable. But you appear to be walking around the outer defences of the castle. Do you want to keep going?
Check the other doors, I think.
Would it be worth following this along and seeing what we can see this way first?
If you guys want.
Okay.
That's up to you.
Yeah, we'll continue along this path.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stealthily and keeping an eye out.
Okay.
Stealthily and perceptively.
Mm-hmm. Everyone roll me a stealth check then, please.
Oh, not so good this time. 15.
21.
Cool.
17.
Okay. As you move around the outside then, turning the corner, you can see that most of these defences then on this wall were gated and barred independently of each other. So if one defence was overrun by attackers from outside the walls, they would still then have to get through a small door inside to get further into the castle. None of this outer defence corridor, apart from the door you have entered, seems to lead further into the castle. Eventually you keep walking and you come to the end door. It is an iron gate through which you can see a large kind of courtyard. It looks like it was once perhaps a garden, but you can see old ice-covered orc tents destroyed, littering the entire garden. No orcs to speak of at all. There are a couple of piles of frozen things that could have orcs inside them, but if they did, then they didn't last long.
Well, good news. At least we don't have to kill any more orcs here.
Maybe.
Sadly. We're gonna head back the other way to look at the other doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems sensible.
So you're not going to make your way into the garden, no?
Is there any? Do we see any other way out of the garden?
Not from your viewpoint, because the wall kind of extends further on past the door a little bit before going left. So you can't really see the entire garden. You can just see maybe half of it.
Is there any obvious way to open this gate?
It would appear to be just shut by a latch.
Should we go in then? Have a quick look.
Yeah, might be able to sneak round behind this beastie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to open the gate quietly.
Okay. As you
This incredibly castle.
As you walk around the garden, then you can almost chart the dragon's rampage through the fortress as you can see it, and you can see huge, like dragon-like footprints have crushed tents and left their impression in the ground below them. You can also see then that it's not quite a dragon-shaped hole, but the way that the doors then leading further into the castle have been broken, you feel that that's the way the dragon went.
I'm pretty sure it's exactly a dragon-shaped hole, like a Wile E. Coyote-shaped hole in a wall.
Wings flayed and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can now see that there is a door leading further back into the castle.
Do we go in or do we look at the other ones? The other.
From your position now in the garden, the door leading further into the castle would, you reckon, probably be exactly opposite the door you first entered the fortress through.
Okay.
I think we've been more successful at staying quiet since we got around the side. So, if anything heard us making our way over the bridge, maybe they would be expecting us to be coming from that direction.
Okay, let's go in this way then, is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Stealthily and deceptively. It's going to be our motto of the night.
Yeah. Stealthy and perceptive.
Okay. So, as you make your way in then through the garden, roll me a stealth check. From the garden, sorry, roll me a stealth check.
14.
14. Okay.
It was nearly a natural one.
11.
Okay, Fergus?
Oh, that's a 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You want to go back to rolling Blink Dog dice or?
Yep, I might use the Blink Dog dice again on my next roll.
Cool. As you make your way in, then, unfortunately stepping over the wood, there is a clatter. Everyone roll me a perception check.
19.
19.
The 27?
27?
Yep, 27.
Okay. You can all hear the sound of something very large moving about very high above you as you enter the building.
It's Fergan's dad.
Immediately to your left, as you enter, is a doorway, and as you peer through it, there appears to be a spiral staircase that goes high up to what you would believe is the top floor of the fortress, but it also goes down into the basement. Directly ahead of you is another doorway, but the passage you're in also veers off to the right. And there are a few doors at the end of that corridor as well.
Should we go check out the basement first? In case there's anything useful?
Yes?
Yep. You can't fall up, right?
So you make your way down, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You make your way down the steps then, and as you enter into the gloom, what you see before you is a crypt, which is also handily chiseled into the stone above the doorway in common. Big letters.
A crypt.
Crypts. As you make your way through, you can see rough-hewn passageways containing many unmarked stone caskets in alcoves. Some of them have been knocked open. You can see the grubby paw prints or handprints of orcs that have moved them. And you can see bones, rusty armour, and the rusted weapons of warriors who fell in battle under the command of this fortress. You can also see, weirdly, resting against one of the caskets is a dismantled toboggan. It looks quite sturdy if you'd put it together properly, but it would be very probably designed for barreling down the side of a mountain. Roll me a perception. Roll me an investigation or a perception check, whichever you want.
Ugh, I don't see anything, I don't think.
I'm going to be so mad. 13.
7. No, wait, I get to add 10.
11.
11.
Yeah.
Okay. Fergan.
Mhm.
Just past the toboggan, as you're looking at it, wondering why they would store a toboggan in a crypt, you do notice the part of the wall doesn't quite line up as it should. There appears to be a secret door.
Secret tunnel.
As you search
Yes.
around it, you do notice again that one of the sconces is twisted and aligned with the rest of them on the wall, and as you twist it back, the secret door swings open to reveal a ledge out of the side of the mountain and the castle, and as you look down it, there is an icy mountain slope that leads from the castle pretty much almost entirely down to the rolling foothills, many, many feet below.
I instantly grab the back of Fergan.
I I think we should reassemble this here toboggan, and it will provide us with a handy escape route should we need it.
I agree. Take a bit of time to do that then, is it? Close the door back up first.
Yes, it's getting very windy in here.
Is there anything to fix the toboggan in the room?
It seems to be just a kind of a puzzle.
It's press fit.
Okay.
Yeah, press fitted all together.
It's just IKEA furniture.
Yeah, we'll try and fix it.
Junkle's toboggan.
Okay. It takes about 10 minutes, but eventually you have a very sturdy toboggan ready to go at the secret door.
Secret door.
What would you like to do?
I would like to make a small performance.
Okay.
And I'm going to create. So I have this thing called Performance of Creation. As an action, you can create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The maximum value of the item is 120 gold pieces, and it lasts for 3 hours. The maximum size of the item is medium. Large now because it's 6th level. And I'm going to make this is going to be a bit cheeky, but it is just flavor, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I'm going to make a crate containing 3 tunics that say on them Fergan and the Ferganeers on the front. And on one of them it says Craig across the back, and underneath it, in the style of like a bachelorette party like t-shirt, it says "Don't get mad, get tamping, fuming, raging." There's a second one that says "Sidestep" across the back, and it says "Friend to all crabs."
Okay.
and then there's one that says Fergan. It's also that one's got a little armband on the arm with a C on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And underneath it says a vote for Fergan is a vote for better corruption.
Okay.
I've made us little team tunics.
Cool.
They're a sky blue with like a white stripe down each sleeve.
Okay.
On my tunic.
I do not.
Put it on. Sidestep.
Yeah.
No. You're not gonna put
Sidestep.
it on. Sidestep.
Sidestep, wear the tunic. We're a team. We've got to be a team.
Roll a 20.
What for?
16.
Nope.
But
If you rolled a natural 20, I would have put it on.
I'm just gonna let you know now. My persuasion is plus 11, so it's a 27.
No. It had to be a natural.
That's bullshit.
In like
bullshit.
in like typical stag do style, like Craig's top is skin tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Craig's one also doesn't have sleeves.
Yeah.
Just his one.
I'll tuck it into my belt.
Why won't you wear the tunic? I made it just for you. Look, it's got that thing about how you killed a crab once. It was a bonding moment for us. Remember?
It's the wrong colour.
I mean, if you'd specified, I would have made it. But this is going to be so intimidating to the dragon when we show up wearing matching jerseys. He's going to know, oh, these guys are going to work together flawlessly. I've got no chance. It's going to be demoralizing. And the fact that we're wearing this like quite bright and it's going to be so icy in there. We're going to be like this like light blue color is going to blend us in so well.
No. I'm just going to turn him around, facing towards the stairs, and give him a little push in that direction.
Back up the
Gonna
stairs.
try and force the tunic over like head.
You actually gonna try and force the tunic over Sidestep's head?
Yeah, I'm gonna force it over his head.
Okay. Sidestep, are you resisting?
Yes.
I would like you both to roll me an athletics check then, please.
21.
You tried to do something nice for someone.
Alright. Yeah, he's better than mine even with my advantage. 18.
He manages to wrestle you off. He is not going to put on the tunic, apparently.
Fine, but this is going to be reflected in your performance review.
So you make your way back up the stairs. Do you go all the way, or are you searching the middle level?
Should we search the middle level first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So as you come back up the stairs then, you see before you a door immediately, and then 2 doors further down the corridor.
Check this first one. Is it?
Is there anything to differentiate the doors? Like, is one of them a big grand door into like a huge courtyard, and the other 2 are like side doors, or do they all just look roughly the same?
The other 2 look like side doors. This one is slightly more ornate, if a lot of the ornaments seem to have been prized off. But you can see where a lot more metal ornamentation would have been bolted to the door.
But it still looks like an interior door into
Still
a
looks
room.
like an interior door, yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. I'm down to check out this door.
Okay. As you make your way in, you can see in here, it was still obviously, but once was a opulent bedchamber, or the quarters of possibly the leader of the garrison, or the warlord that used to control the fortress. Inside, you can see 4 skeletons. There are 3 in rusty suits of chainmail lying on the floor near very rusted longswords. And you can see a 4th humanoid skeleton in rusty plate, slumped in a chair facing the fireplace. There is a steel goblet on the floor between the legs of the chair. In the middle of the room stands a sturdy oak table, around which maybe officers would have planned their attacks. As you can see, there are pieces of a map kind of ripped and strewn, decayed, and many little figures of soldiers, wooden figures that would have been pushed around the large map.
We need to take their femurs, the skeletons. We need to take their femurs away.
Yep.
Yep.
Take all the skeletons' femurs away.
Okay. Roll me a stealth
Femur
check.
Oh, come on. 9.
Oh, that's a bit better now.
I didn't actually see my roll before I managed to pick up the die. It's a
21.
22.
Okay. I'll say then, with those stealth checks, as you make your way further around the interior of the castle, you come upon a dining room, which would have looked much more obviously like a dining room if it hadn't been completely destroyed. And again, you can see the passage and the graffiti left by a rampaging orc party. Smashed furnishings, like a giant dining table, dozens of wooden chairs. You can see then lying in the fireplace is a stuffed and mounted head of a large white wolf with glassy blue eyes. And as you look above the fireplace, you can see where it would have hung once upon a time above the mantelpiece. You also find a kitchen. There's a cold breeze blowing out of the twin fireplaces built into the south wall. You find the pantry completely ransacked. There's a couple of skeletons left in there. One in a rusty breastplate, the other in tatters of robes. And eventually,
Pointed the wolf head and say to Sidestep, "One of yours?" Or?
eventually you make your way in a large circle back around to the foot of the spiral staircase.
Time to go up then, is it?
I don't suppose we can put it off much longer.
Time of day is it? How long has it been?
Moving stealthily around the place and searching as you have been, and with the short rest, it is now around about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Cool.
The room with like the tatters of a map.
Mm-hmm.
Did we see what the map was? Or get anything from it, or is it just pieces?
Pieces, any usable bits of the map have long since decayed and been destroyed.
Fair. Well, I guess the only way is up.
Baby. Okay. As you make your way up the stairs then, I require another stealth check, please.
Nine. I cannot roll today.
26.
This bodes well. 26.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unix are nice and quiet, they say to Fergus.
They are.
Okay. As you make your way up the stairs then, Sidestep stumbles, causing a loose paving slab to tumble back down, echoing much louder now that you're watching for it than it should. There is no sound of movement above. As you make your way further up the stairs, you step out into a large room. like a throne room. It appears to be decorated with the spoils of war, surrounded by impressive-looking furniture, most of it partially or completely destroyed. But heaped around the rooms are furs, antlers, the rotting heads of... As you look at them, mostly the enemies of orcs. So the rotting heads of dwarves, humans, and maybe other rival orcs, and many other such grisly trophies. There is a severed right hand, still clutching the haft of an elegant-looking great axe.
How elegant we talking here?
It is stunning. The blades of the axe itself are splayed as if trying to create the picture of a dragon's wings in full flight.
Would you say that the sort of design is similar to the longsword that Craig is currently holding?
No.
No?
Other than the fact that they both picture dragons? No.
Yeah. Okay. Worth a try.
I'm not going to give him a sword of dragon slaying and then a great axe of dragon slaying.
I don't know, it might have been in the module. It looks like one for you, Craig.
I'm gonna walk over to it and take a swing at the hand on the handle to see if I can just chop the rest of the hand off.
As you do, then the flesh just kind of bursts. It is rotted and decayed. As you look at the end of it, it did look, before you desecrated it even further with your axe, as if it had been bitten off, or in fact, the hand was the only thing that was outside of the teeth, as its owner was swallowed whole.
Nice. I'm gonna take the axe.
Cool. There is one door. Other than the stairs, there is one closed door leading from this room.
One way out.
Go up to it to put my ear against it, see if I can hear anything on the other side.
Okay. Roll perception for me.
Oh, thank God for that. 23.
23.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the howling wind, but it does almost sound like the wind is breathing.
I'm gonna back up from the door and just whisper to them. I think he's there.
The wind is breathing.
Creepy.
Would you think now would be a good time to take our potions of cold resistance?
I do think that would be a good idea, yes.
Let's use it then, is it?
Yes. Down the hatch. Bergen holds his potion up to Clink. And takes the potion of cold resistance.
Yep, and I'll take mine.
Okay.
Remove that then.
Okay. So you've all got cold resistance now?
Yeah, I'm going to reach over to the tunic I made for sidestep, and I'm going to peel off the fake slogan patch that I put on about the crab to reveal the one that says the lone wolf dies but the pack survives.
God damn it! Now I'll put it on.
Yes. Excellent. So, with all your potions of cold resistance, and all now looking like a team, Fergan and the Ferganeers open the door.
I kick in the door and yell FBI freeze. No, I don't.
Okay.
Do the same as we did when we walked in on those guys, is it?
Yeah.
I'll stand there with my bow ready for a shot.
Okay.
I think, yeah, maybe we try and open it quietly on the off chance the dragon isn't looking this way.
As you open the door, then, the wind sweeps a blast of cold air in at you. And as you kind of clear your eyes, you can see a layer of fog that seems to get blown away but almost instantly reform over the rooftop. In the moments it is clear, it looks like a sea of glass spreading out before you. The entire rooftop is open. It is about 50 to 60 feet across. And it is covered in ice. There is no sign of the dragon.
Okay. Sweet.
Can we, now that we've got the door open, can we hear that sort of breathing sound any more clearly?
The wind now is louder. Everyone roll me a perception check.
15.
18.
12.
The wind appears to be masking any other sounds.
I'm going to peek my head through the door and look up.
Okay. Stealthily or?
Yeah.
Okay, roll me a stealth check.
That is a 15?
A 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, he's rolling a dice. I don't like that.
Okay, as you peek your head out the door then, you do so, looking straight up, 5 feet away from the open maw of the white dragon, as it closes its
FBI
eyes.
freeze?
Freeze. Don't mind if you do. And it breathes out its cold breath straight towards the doorway. I am gonna need everybody to make me a Constitution saving throw.
So I'm doing my rolls on D&D Beyond now because I can't roll with any of these dice today. Let's see if D&D Beyond will work for me. Oh, it did. Well, 17.
17, okay.
I rolled an 18.
18, okay.
8.
8. Sorry, I thought Discord cut off the end of the word then. I thought it was 18, but that was what was that?
8.
8. Okay. Right then. So, let's see. Hang on. Oof. Okay.
I don't like oof.
Okay. So, the two of you made your con saving throw, and you have potions of cold resistance, so the damage is quartered.
Yep.
Craig, the damage is only halved.
Well,
Craig,
here we go.
you take 25 points of cold damage.
Oh my god.
Cool.
Fucking what, mate?
Fucking knew I should have just raged and kicked the fucking door through.
Sidestep and Fergan, you take 12 points of cold damage.
No.
And the dragon leaps from its perch into the air, wings spread. Initiative time! Okay. Where are we, Sirenscape? There we go. Give me a second. And... there we go. Okay. So we've got dragon battle music. Yeah. Okay. Initiatives, guys.
18.
17.
7.
7.
Yeah.
And... okay. Sidestep.
Can I see the dragon at all?
From your... hang on. Just realised. There we go. From your position, no, the dragon has leapt from its perch and flown up. You will need to go outside the door if you would wish to see the dragon.
I suppose I will.
Just go home. Just fucking go.
I'll step out the door, then have a look up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Sidestep. Go. Okay, you step out the door. You see it maybe 30 feet off to your side, to your right.
Bonus action, Hunter's Mark.
Okay, bonus action, Hunter's Mark on the dragon.
And I suppose I should start taking shots. Oh, hang on. I gotta roll to hit first, haven't I?
Are you going to step out of the way of the door so your friends can come too?
I'm gonna be going back in at the end of my take a shot. 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits, roll for damage.
6, 10, 13, 18 damage.
18 damage. Cool, okay.
Take my second shot. Well, 14.
14, you see the second arrow try and hit the mark of the first, but the dragon twists in the air and it glances off its scales, and you see it careening off into the white.
Back in I go.
You're gonna go back in, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll just
Okay.
tell them where he is.
Craig.
Fuck has happened yet? I take it using a potion is going to be an action.
Nope. For yourself, using a potion is a bonus action.
Am I still going to be able to rage after that?
No, that is a bonus action.
No, that's going to be a... Okay, I'll have to do on the next one. There we are. I'll rage,
Yeah.
and I'm going to step out into the open.
Okay.
Am
How far?
I able to get in range where I can launch a javelin at it,
What is the
or
range,
is it too far?
What is the range of the javelin?
Range is 30 and then 120 in brackets. So I'm guessing any sort of massive distance is going to be disadvantage.
Yes, but as you step out the door, please roll me an acrobatic saving throw.
Dexterity saving throw?
Acrobatics. Check, sorry.
Right.
But,
We're still in the mountains. No difficult terrain, remember?
We're not in the mountains now, mate.
Wait, I mean,
shit, it's a 7.
Oof.
It's a 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oof.
As you step out, then. There we go. You are prone.
What?
You slip on the ice just outside the door. Would you like to use your remaining movement to get back up?
Yes.
Okay. To get back up. You cannot go anywhere unless you use your action to move. You can, though, attempt to throw a javelin at the dragon. 2, in fact.
Yeah, why not? Where's my javelins?
I've
22.
I've just seen Owen's comment in the chat. 22 to hit.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
hits.
And what's that? 26. Okay. That's 9 for damage total.
9 damage.
The first one.
Okay.
The second. Oh, happy days. That's a 25.
Yep, 25 definitely hits.
7.
7 points of damage. The dragon screams at you in the air as both of the javelins puncture its skin. Is that the end of your go?
Yeah, I can't move or anything, so yeah.
Cool. Okay. Dragon's turn. D6 first. That is a 3. No cold breath this turn. So, it is going to use its movement. Fly down, getting close to you. Let's remove these walls. We don't need these walls. There you can see everyone. Excellent. Okay. And it is going to attempt to bite you and strike at you twice with its claws.
Yeah.
Okay, the bite is a 15 to hit.
Yes.
Okay, the claws are a 17 to hit.
Yep.
And a 17 to hit.
Yes.
Okay, so the bite. You take piercing damage from the bite. You take 6 points of damage.
Cool.
And you take 1 point of cold damage.
Cool.
From the first claw, you take 5 points of damage.
Yeah.
As the second claw swipes at you, you take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
You still up?
Yep.
Okay, cool. It is going to use the rest of its movement to back away from you.
Do I get an attack of opportunity?
You do?
Let's try and make this fucker count.
You're using the dragon slaying longsword now.
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a 26.
26 definitely hits, so it stops in its tracks. It cannot move.
Right. Okay. So this is something new.
I love Sentinel.
Yeah.
If I'm using it. Don't like it so much as a DM.
Yeah.
Ah, come on.
Sentinel
Look at that.
and Mobility, my 2 favourite feats. completely opposite each other.
Yeah. You're a liar as well. You
Oh.
love it when your players thwart you.
I do.
So that from what's that, a D10? So plus that, it's a 17 damage
Yeah.
plus 3d6.
What, for the dragon slaying longsword?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad. And an extra 14 on top.
Okay.
So, just a 31. Yeah, 31.
31.
31. Basically rolled full damage on the sword hit, and then I got a 6 of 5, and the 3 on the other dice for the bonus damage.
Dead, right?
You mean 31 in total?
31 total, yeah.
Right, okay, so what was the extra bonus damage? Just the extra bonus damage?
It was 17 normal damage,
Okay,
and then 14 extra damage.
cool. Right, because I already took the 17 off. That's fine.
Yeah, 14.
Right, okay. And it's not moving. Fergan.
Okay. How far out has Craig gone? Can I get
I'm
between?
right in the fucking door.
Yeah, so I can get between Craig and Sidestep where I can touch them both, right?
You're very small. You're basically standing between them.
Okay, excellent. I will cast Heroism
Ooh, nice.
at a second level, so I can. Nope, I will cast Heroism at a third level, actually, so I can include myself.
Okay.
So everyone gets those 5-10 hit points that refresh every round.
Cool.
As long as I'm able to concentrate on this spell.
Okay.
I will then back up, so I'm not back away from the door, but go to the side of the door, so that if he breathes in through the door, I'm not going to get hit.
Cool. Okay.
And I will inspire Craig.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Now, this is where the newbie players get to learn about something called lair effects.
I've seen enough Critical Role.
Yeah. They feel different when they happen to you.
Okay, what do we got?
I'm sure he hasn't got any, Bri.
As you were all standing there with the dragon in front of you, suddenly you cannot see him. Your entire world is filled with a 20-foot radius sphere of freezing fog. Spreads around corners. You were all captured in it, and I am going to need everyone to make me a con saving throw. The DC is only 10.
Oh, I rolled a nat 20.
I rolled a 9.
In total?
Yep.
Okay.
Bear with.
D&D Beyond is betraying me now. Oh, if I'd rolled this dice, I would have had a 19.
And thank Christ for that. I had to use the fucking D8 as well.
10. Okay. So. Bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sidestep.
Mm-hmm.
You take 2 cold damage because you have a potion of cold resistance. Fergan. You take 1 cold damage because of your potion of cold resistance and the fact that you succeeded.
I can't believe you've done this to me.
Craig. The lowest you can resist it to is 1. You take 1
Yeah.
point of cold damage.
Got a slight chill.
You take 1 point of cold damage.
Like the feeling when you pick up a can in the supermarket and you've got to like balance things, so you have to hold it with your like inner arm, and it's like, oh, that's unpleasantly cold.
You got a 4-pinter of milk under one arm for too long. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, sidestep.
So I'm going to sneeze,
Okay.
and then he's got my hunter's mark on, so I know where he is. So I'm gonna. How far can we see in this fog?
You can't.
Not at all. So I can't even see where the door is.
You can remember where the door is.
I want to take a step to my left then.
Okay.
And then I jump to the right.
And then, as I said, he's got my hunter's mark on, so I know exactly where he is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to take a shot at him.
Go for it.
Am I at disadvantage or what? Because, like I said, nope.
You,
Cool.
You've got your hunter's mark on him. You know exactly where he is.
I miss.
But your first arrow misses.
It misses. Well, 15. So yeah, I think it misses.
Definitely misses. You do not hear the sound of an arrow impacting through the fog.
I cannot roll at all today. Okay, I'm gonna do this one on here. Oh, thank God for that. 29.
Yeah, I saw it just popped up. I get to see all of your rolls.
We all do.
Oh, if you go in the game log.
No, just if you're in, if you've got your character sheet open, you can see what other people in the same campaign rolled.
Ah, can you?
Yeah.
Cool. So the second one does hit. Roll for damage.
Gonna use PSR on that one. Thank God. 8, 12, 16, 21 damage.
21 points of damage. Okay. The dragon screams in rage, and now you can hear in the middle of that scream pain as well. Is that the end of your go? Or are you moving back out of the way?
Yeah, moving back out of the way.
Okay. I didn't move you anyway, so I'm not going to get it. That's fine.
That's fine.
Craig. Sorry, you've ended your turn inside the fog.
Ah, all right.
Apparently so.
Roll me a con save.
Bear with.
Not
13.
Craig, not Craig, sidestep.
Ah! Cool.
13, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. You take... Bum, bum, bum. Seven points of cold damage.
That's halved for the
That's already
resistance
half.
as well. Oh, Jesus.
Oh no, and half of the resistance as well. Okay, you take 3 points of cold damage.
There we go.
I forgot that I've got to quarter things for some people. Okay. So, Craig. You're still in the fog.
Yep. I'm going to be using one of my potions of greater healing.
Okay, cool.
Is 44. Oh, again, thank you very much.
It's 4d4 plus 4.
4. So, yeah, that went quite well for me.
Good.
So that's 18 points back on. Ooh. Okay.
18 points, cool. Okay. And with your action? You've got movement
I
as
can't
well,
see it through the
remember?
fog, no.
No, you can't see it through the fog. But you've got movement. You can try if you want to and step out of the fog. You can remember where the dragon was, so you can try and move around it with your sense of where the dragon was.
Puts his left hand out and just feels his way around the dragon.
And try and step out of the fog so you can see it if you want to, or you can just try and swing for it with disadvantage.
I'll try and swing for it.
If you do a reckless attack, you can negate the disadvantage. It's just a straight swing.
It's going to hurt me a lot more then.
Not so much hurt you a lot more. It's definitely going to hit you a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it. We'll go for a reckless attack then.
Reckless, okay. Straight roll.
Yep, back onto that. 21.
21. Definitely hits.
Actually, no, sorry, 24.
Yeah, definitely hits. Roll the damage.
It's with the Dragon Slayer sword again, so 1d8. Don't like using dice that I don't normally use. What are we going for that now?
Wasn't it a D10 if you were two-handing it?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why that one is there. So this is 11, 12, 15. It's 15 in total.
15 in total.
Oh, sorry, 15 for the hit.
Yeah.
And then the... let's say it was 3d6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And an extra 13 damage on top.
So 28 in total.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Want to hit him again?
Yeah, I'll take another swing at him.
Okay.
Get them ready, actually. That one's not so great. No, 13.
13 points of damage. No, 13 to hit,
Yeah.
was it?
Oh, shit. Rolled in the wrong one. Ignore me. Different dice in it. 16, 17, 18, 19 to hit.
19 to hit, yes.
There we go.
What did you roll?
Fucking I rolled the fucking D10, didn't I? 'Cause I'm an idiot. I was like, shit. So that is... So that's 10 points of damage, normal.
Okay.
9 points of damage on top.
19 points of damage, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. You feel
Yeah.
an icy heat splash your skin. And you look down and you can see the blue-black blood of the dragon as it seems to steam in the cold air, but at the same time freezer burn the parts of the skin that has hit you. The dragon screams but also whimpers, and you can hear its laboured breathing through the fog as it is definitely on its last legs. Sorry, its last leg. It's literally its last leg.
Nice.
Is that the end of your go?
Yep.
Okay, I need you to roll me a con save.
Cool. Uh, 13.
You take... so that'd be half the 4. 2 points of cold damage.
Cool.
Hang on, no wait. He saved, so it's 4. Frost resistance, cold resistance, 2. Raging, you take 1 point of cold damage.
I think the raging thing just gives him cold resistance, so it's just doubled up.
Oh, okay,
Like,
cool.
I don't think it halves twice.
Cool, you get 2. You get 2,
Yeah,
that's fine.
fine. I've got 2 on, that was fine.
Okay. It is the dragon's turn. You hear its laboured breathing go deep as it sucks in a long breath into its lungs. And I need Jess Craig, in fact, because everyone else is hiding behind a door and cones don't go around corners, to roll me a con save, please.
Don't forget you've got the D8 inspiration.
It's good that you reminded him, because I think he completely forgot he had the D8 inspiration.
Just in case, might not need it. Might roll on that 20 anyway, but...
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's a 12.
With the D8?
Yep.
Fucking hell.
You take 20 points of cold damage as the dragon's possibly final breath spills out over you, and you feel your entire body freeze up. You still up?
What
Yep.
did you roll on the D8?
Fucking 3.
Okay, so you did gain, when you rolled that, you did gain 8 temporary hit points, which replaces the 5 that you had anyway. So I don't know if that makes any difference. But...
That's fine.
It is again
Hello.
going to attempt to fly away from you. Craig, do you want to
Yeah.
disadvantage because you can't see it?
That's fine. It's not bad anyway. So that's a 20 with disadvantage.
Your axe finds purchase in its neck.
Longsword.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
your longsword finds purchase in its neck. And just for shits and giggles, roll me the damage anyway. I want to see how many more than one you get.
That's fine. So what's that?
Man, that sword has been invaluable.
Yep.
So that's 16 and 12.
So 28 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
You position yourself just right, and you see looming out of the fog the dragon's head, as it itself needs to pass through the fog to try and find you. And as its bright white blue eye finds you, you see the lizard-like slit of its iris go so thin as to almost be invisible as it sees you raising your sword to its exposed nape of its neck. You bring your sword down as hard as possible, and it goes straight through. The sound of the sword rings out, and the dragon falls, breathing no more.
Good teamwork, guys. Great hustle out there.
What would you like to do?
Well,
Craig's gonna have a sit down.
I will. I'll throw a healing word Craig's way. I think. Just do a quick. Yeah, I'll use my last 3rd level. Whatever. We've killed your dragon. So. D4s. That's 6 plus 5. 11. 11 points to you.
Thank you. That'll do.
Slated dragon, boys?
I have
Keep
plans
my
for this
head in the
dragon.
door and look at Sidestep and going, "You alright?"
covered in dragon blood just everywhere.
I'll just tap him on the shoulder, say well done.
I'm impressed.
As you look down now, Craig, and begin to try and wipe the blood that still burns off your skin, what is left behind is 3 very deep, like kind of rents in your skin that look almost as if the dragon has just opened you from shoulder to hip. Even once you are healed, this huge scar will remain as a trophy, if you will, of your fight against the ice dragon.
Look at the big rip in the tunic that Fergan gave me a gun. Sorry.
It's going to stop existing in another 2 hours.
A little voice in the back of your head, Craig, goes, "We should have some of those made. Like, actually made. Just for Fergan."
I guess we should harvest some parts of this dragon.
I had plans for this dragon.
Okay. Is everyone going to do it? Or is Craig going to rest while the nature check guy does it with help?
I'll help. Craig can.
Yeah, Craig's
Craig's
going to sit down.
Craig's done his bit.
Craig's fucked. Okay. You can roll nature with advantage, please. Sidestep.
Okay. That's the first one. 17.
In fact, nature
And
or
the second
survival.
one, 22.
Are they both the same? Nature
No.
or survival? You can do
My
whichever.
survival is bigger.
Cool, yeah. Go
I'll
for it.
do that then. So that's a 26. Why is it giving me 26? I rolled. Oh, that's weird. I don't know. It looked like I rolled a 14, but it's telling me I rolled a 20, a natural 20 there. Plus 6 is 26.
Cool. All right.
So.
With that, then, you make your way around the dragon. The head is actually quite well severed. It's very almost like clinically done. Like the surgical skill of Craig with the sword is unmatched. The horns of the dragon are untouched. Its teeth are pristine. Its eyes, even as you reach towards them, are like orbs of ice. With that roll, you get 6 pristine white dragon horns.
Oh, hang on. So.
As Greg will
6.
tell you, if you have an idea of making cool shit with it and I like it, you can pretty much have it.
Well, my idea was I wanted to harvest scales in the hopes of making armor from it.
You could do that.
Cool. And depending on the size of this dragon, I was hoping to skin some of the where it's like the scales are all finer.
Okay.
Possibly make a cloak or two, depending on how big the dragon is.
The dragon's large enough that if you skin it, you could probably make a couple of items of clothing and some armor out of it. But with that kind of nature roll, you do quite deftly skin. So write in skin of young white dragon.
Nice.
Alright.
We'll go for 2 white dragon wings, or like the membranes, so you can make a cloak out of it.
Nice.
Hang glider.
Yep.
60 white dragon teeth.
60, is it?
Nice.
Okay.
Like a shark. 2 white dragon eyes.
Yep.
And a white dragon heart.
And, white dragon. Heart. Epic.
Okay.
Greg's looking at the bag that he normally puts all his severed heads in, trying to do the math, looking at the dragon's head.
Sure we can put it on the toboggan and drag that behind us.
Oh my god.
Roll me an investigation check, everyone.
Oh, that's another natural 20. 25.
Mine's just a 17. But,
16.
As you are looking around then, Sidestep, you do find part of the ice which has been broken up into mush. And though it is cold and almost freezes you to the bone, you can see something through the slush, and you dive your hand in, and it comes up with a bag. Small bag, unassuming, drawstring, probably blue if it was dry. Just a bag.
I'm gonna see if I can start fitting all this stuff in it, or some of it in it, see until it fills up.
The bag is much smaller than the dragon horn. But as you push the white dragon horn in, one of the white dragon's horns into it, it sinks all the way in. The bag feels no heavier.
I'll keep going, because I got 6 of them.
Eventually, you do roll up as best you can the white dragon hide and the wings, and it appears as they begin to push their way in, like they're not going to fit, but suddenly the mouth of the bag expands a little. And with a little bit of effort, you eventually get every item into the tiny little bag that would hang at your hip.
Greg is looking confused as shit. Rubbing his eyes. Right.
he's already got a headache because he was trying to do math a minute ago.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
gonna
trying to get the dragon head in my bag now.
look at Fergus, because he's the magic person. Ask him if he knows anything about this.
I presume,
You
considering my father's occupation, I've seen
I'm
one
guessing
of
what it is, but yeah,
You-
I want you.
absolutely know what this is. You do not even have to do an arcana check.
these. Yeah, I pointed it and say bag of holding.
There we go. Nice.
Or it's a bag of devouring and you've just lost fucking everything. Put your hand in and find out.
Okay,
Are you going to put your hand in?
I want to see if I can get one of these, one of the dragon teeth back out.
Cool, roll me a dexterity. No, I'm joking.
Looks on you, it's a fucking mimic.
As you put your
Slide
hand
into
in,
the bag like fucking Jumanji.
as you put your hand in, there appears to be nothing inside, but as you picture in your mind that you want a dragon horn, you feel the end of one and you draw it from the bag.
Cool. I'm just gonna big smile on my face.
The other two, Fergus and Craig, as you look around, you do not find anything as good as a bag of holding, but you do notice almost as if the cement that's holding the barrier around this roof together appears to be melting. And then a rock falls away. And suddenly a large part of the railing falls away. And you begin to see that after all this time it was no longer mortar and cement holding the castle together, but the magical ice of the dragon's presence. You all begin to feel
I love
the
this.
floor below you begin to rumble and shake.
Hey guys, I think maybe we should get on that toboggan now.
Crash, the tower behind you half collapses back into the room that you were in. The door is still open though.
I'm fully running towards the...
Yeah.
Like run. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the head, haven't you? Or what's left of it after I took the horns and the
Yeah.
teeth, the eyes.
Are you lugging around a severed dragon head right now?
I'm basically like inside it. It's just a dragon
All right.
with dragon head with legs.
Cool.
Run into an open door.
As you run, you can see as you get into the
Like
room.
Mr. Bean with the turkey on his head.
There is a huge hole now in the ceiling expanding. I need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw.
20.
20, cool. You
10?
got 10, okay.
10, yeah.
10, okay. As you then sidestep, jump out of the way of a large piece of falling masonry, you are just about to shout out a warning to your fellows when...
Stu, did you roll that with advantage?
I did, unfortunately.
Oof. Okay.
as the large piece of masonry clips Craig, doing 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Cool.
And then bounces into Fergan, doing 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Boo.
You continue to keep running down the down the stairs. The spiral staircase now seems slippery, as the long ago smoothed by many, many feet climbing up and down it, stone is now covered in icy water. I need everyone to make me an acrobatics check, please.
Acrobatics. 23.
23, cool.
25.
20.
Natural 20, awesome. You all manage to hop, skip, and jump, sometimes 3 steps in a row, and find your footing and make your way down the first flight of stairs to the middle floor. As you do, the doorway explodes under the weight of all of the rocks above it, and rocks fly out straight towards you from the rest of the castle. I need everyone to make me a dexterity saving throw.
22.
15.
7.
7, okay. Sidestep, you duck under a few bits of masonry. Craig, you brace yourself. Unfortunately, the impact is not that severe. However, Fergan, a lot of it collapsed onto you, and you end up taking 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh dear.
Keep going. As you run down the stairs, then the torrent.
I'm sticking Fergal under my arm at this fucking point.
You've got a dragon head on your head.
It's fine. I can see out of the eye hole.
Okay, make me a strength check as you do. Not for the lifting power, because I know you can do it. The lifting and carrying weight is alright. It's for the awkwardness of the dragon head and Fergan.
And Fergan's trying to wriggle around because he doesn't want his face pressing into the
Dead dragon.
the goopy end.
You got much of a shy son. It's a 27.
Okay, so yeah, he's got you both. You're alright.
Right.
As you make your way down, again, the stairs, the torrent of water is getting worse. I need you to make me sidestep, an acrobatics check. Craig, an acrobatics check with disadvantage because of your awkward load.
20.
Well, I get dexterity advantage anyway, so straight roll.
Straight roll.
And what was it? Sorry, acrobatics?
Yeah.
16.
16? Cool. You just manage to find purchase as you look ahead and see sidestep basically parkouring, like wall running down the the vertical wall on the outside of it, just with his hand on the inside. But you also manage to keep pace with him and eventually find yourself now in the catacombs, in the crypts. It is quickly filling up with water. It is now maybe about 3 feet deep. It does make it a little more difficult. I need you to both make me a strength saving throw to push your way through the water quickly.
11.
11.
That's 21.
For the first time in this entire race to get out of the castle, Craig outstrips you sidestep as you are left wading through the water. You are becoming exhausted. Craig, just high knees, just kicking through the water, splashing it everywhere.
Fergan.
The ceiling above you does collapse. Craig, unfortunately, is no longer in danger. sidestep. I need you to make me a dex save.
10. Jesus.
Okay.
Killing against me.
It does not trap you, but you are hit and you take 10 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Okay. So battered, bloody, and bleeding. You do both eventually make it now, or all three of you, sorry, eventually make it now to the secret door. The wall itself and the door also appears to be now... It's kind of not flush with the wall anymore. The degrading castle is damaging it. The sconce will not turn quite as well. I need someone to make me a strength save.
We know who that's going to be.
Strength check, sorry, to open the door.
Cool. 21.
21?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
You put down the
Bryce.
dragon head, put down Fergan, brace yourself against the door, and with the rising water, eventually manage to slide it out of the way. Water starts spewing out. The level does start going down, but you can hear the rumbling above you and the impact of falling stone. You can now see out of this door rocks start to tumble down the mountain. Do you all get on the toboggan?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. And with the last push, you hurtle out of the secret door and immediately are almost faced with a near vertical fall. At one point, it feels like the back of the toboggan is going to come off the cliff. You feel like you are just in free fall until finally the angle of the cliff changes and all three of you and the dragon head crash, impacting into the floor, and you feel gravity start to take you down and down and down away. An avalanche of rocks is, however, following you. I need one of you. Do any of you have proficiency in vehicles? It'll be in your backgrounds. Do any of you have proficiency in vehicles?
Don't think so.
Is a vehicle a thieves' tool?
It is not. Unless you count as a toboggan as a thieves' tool if you were trying to ransack a castle.
I do.
I don't. So no, it is not a thieves' tool.
Could it be considered a bagpipe?
I would like a strength check then to counteract gravity. Who is going to attempt to wrest the... In fact, give me a strength saving throw.
I think we know who's doing that.
That's a natural 20.
Hey.
As you look back and see a huge rock, 10 times the size of all of you combined, a huge slab of masonry that has followed you down this mountain, begin to gain on you. Craig grabs one side, pins both of you to the toboggan, and leans to the side, and you see, as it goes up on one rail, the huge piece of masonry, which would have completely destroyed the toboggan and possibly your bodies, flies straight past you and hurtle faster down the mountain. It feels like it takes forever. With your hearts in your mouth, it seems to have been an age since you were in that castle attempting to get onto a toboggan. But less than 10 seconds pass, and the angle of the cliff shallows. The toboggan begins to slow, and eventually, once it hits grass, comes to a complete stop, and you find yourself in the foothills of the Sword Mountains, surrounded by huge chunks of masonry, some smaller parts still falling around you, but none in your immediate vicinity. The clouds above break, the sun shines, and in the distance, too far away for you possibly to be able to see now, but in the distance, for the first time since you got to these lands, you hear birdsong. The rustle of grass as if a rabbit is moving through it. It would appear, at least for now, that safety and normality has returned to the lands surrounding the town of Fendley.
Can I look up and see if the guardhouse with our horses in survived?
Did you bring your horses up the mountain?
I don't know, did we?
We
I
left
thought
them
we
by the
did.
cave, didn't we? Because we couldn't get them up the path. So they
That's
would have
right,
been by
yeah.
the cave. They would have been
Yeah.
up by, yeah. They're still up the mountain somewhere.
So you left them by the cave.
Yeah.
I thought you would have actually killed 4 horses this session then. But no, you left them by the cave. Your horses are still by the cave.
Okay.
I'm hoping my horses talk to the other 2 horses that were escaping and trample those 2 people to death.
And
3
with
versus
that,
2.
with your minds now towards a reward or
An election.
an election, or at least for some of you, more importantly, finding out what happened to their father in 4 days' time, we will leave it there. However, I will say, this is probably the
Killing
only,
that dragon was a real milestone.
I
in
will
our
say,
journey.
and this is probably the only time this will happen 2 sessions in a row, because lower levels, this can happen. Higher levels, no. That is a milestone, and you have all leveled up to level 7.
Woo!
Boop, boop.
Stay ever.
This is what happens when the book decides the milestones, not the DM.
Yeah. Rolling.
I just love the idea that there's just a toboggan with a fucking dragon's head on it, just flying down a fucking cliff,
That's,
slowly sliding in at the bottom of the hill.
that's a 5 for my HP.
Hey, I rolled an 8 on my D8.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is
makes
it-
up for the 2 I rolled last
I
time.
was going to say.
I am up to 57 now.
I'm up to 51. Have I got... Yes, I do in fact have 4th level spell now.
Oh, I like this. So I now get advantage on wisdom saving throws against charmed or frightened. And when a creature I can see within 120 feet succeeds on a saving throw against being charmed or frightened, I can use my reaction to force another creature to make a wisdom saving throw.
Cool.
That's interesting.
Nice.
So,
Any new spells? Yes.
Seems like I've got level 4 spells now. And you know what's a level 4 spell, Bray?
what's the level 4 spell, Greg?
Polymorph.
You know what miniatures I have, so you know. Go nuts.
I'm not restricted by your miniatures.
You're restricted by some of the sizes I have.
You're gonna need to get a Tyrannosaurus miniature, right? I'll tell you that now.
I've been looking at one anyway. Don't worry about it.
The Jurassic Park music is already playing in my head.
Okay. But yeah. So you have finished the first installment of the Essentials Kit Adventure, the Dragon of Icespire. Well, practically finished. There's a bit of, roleplay. But you killed the dragon. Well done, guys. That's your first dragon ever in Dungeons and Dragons. Well, for Stu and Nikki. Greg's an old hat at this. Greg's
I've killed just an absurd amount of dragons.
Greg's killed the goddess of dragons. Don't worry about it.
We killed like 4 dragons in one fight once.
Greg killed dragons with coins. Greg killed a gargantuan blue dragon with a handful of coins.
Millie killed a
Nice.
baby.
Millie killed the baby. Oh yeah, look, it's the first one, Greg.
Oh yeah, that's the original.
The OG.
Yeah, the original group.
Yeah. Forgebane, Kieslin, Dragon Baby Slayer. Cake was the Dragon Slayer. Cake was.
She got a lot of final blows.
Yeah, Cake was the Flash.
Yeah.
But yes, I hope you all enjoyed. I know I did.
Yeah, it was easy. Fucking just GG easy, basically.
I have already decided on what is coming next, and I cannot wait. But yeah, we are obviously we will arrange when we will next play. We will tell you on our Discord, on our social media. We will also let you know when either the Chronicles of Needham will return, which it will, definitely will. We haven't given up on it. It is screaming in my brain. There are many, many, many NPCs screaming in my brain to be heard. But there is also a player character in my brain screaming to be played. And we will let you know when Greg begins his campaign as well.
I really think it's going to be this Sunday. I genuinely really think it's going to be this Sunday. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do first Sunday of every month if you want, instead of third. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But yes, we will let you know. Apart from that, though, I hear a couple of people are itching to play a bit of Pirates this week.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm up for that as well. Take a night off the stress of Tarkov and sail some calmer seas.
I was thinking, bro, if you wanted, I could probably stream Tarkov on your channel on my from my PC. So
Yes.
you'd still be streaming Tarkov effectively because your voice would be there and you're always around.
Yeah, and your computer's much more powerful than mine.
It will probably manage, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, we can try it.
Yeah.
We can definitely try it. Because even if it's just the scav runs, it's a good jest chatting stream. Because
Yeah. We have fun. We kill raiders. It's a good time.
it is a good time. But yes,
Yeah.
we will let you know on social media and our Discord about all of any future stream that we will do. But as always, thanks to those who have watched, thanks to those who will watch. Take care, stay safe, wear a mask, don't go outside unless you have to, because why would you want to?
Kill dragons.
Kill dragons.
Ride a toboggan down a mountain.
As long as they're evil.
Ride a toboggan off a cliff.
Yeah.
Everyone do that.
We do not endorse riding a toboggan off a cliff. These guys are trained fantasy professionals. But yes, we love you guys, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.